Hey everyone, really busy and tired and dark and fuzzy, but I figured shouldn't bother putting this video off any longer simply because otherwise it's not really going to be too relevant. So I figure I should probably talk about the PlayStation 4 launch, my impressions on how that's going exactly, and my thoughts on the Wii U and things going on with that. Some things that have been on my mind for a while. Uh, First thing about the PS4 launch, it looks like it went pretty damn good. Of course, I had all those pre-orders that went. There were the things with the, oh my god, faulty units beforehand, but I haven't seen anything cropping up after that about any large slew of holy shit, this is broken. I'm sure there were more faulty units than just the 20 or so that were reported before everything went out. And that was a high estimate. One person, they had an article about 21 units faulty. And they had their list of 21 different articles. Some of them might have been talking about the same units, but also some of them weren't even talking about the PS4. And I'm looking at that like, don't you think you should have at least changed the title of this thing? Because that's not 21 units. But I'm sure out of 1.5 million, more than 20 were defective. But there's no huge story of it, so wait for the dust to settle for the exact numbers to come in. All in all, it looks okay. And the main reason I'm looking at the PS4 launch like, yeah, this is going well. Game-wise, the PlayStation 4 launch doesn't jump out at me much. Most of what they have available, first-person shooters. They've got Knack, which wasn't scored very high, and they've got the next Killzone, another first-person shooter that... It's Killzone! I'm sure some people will like it. Okay. Graphically, they look very damn nice. And that's the big difference I see there with a lot of the cross-gen games, is they actually gave a damn with trying to do something with the PS4, whereas on the Wii U, some would say with the Wii U, it had the best launch lineup, the most AAA games of any launch lineup. Except said AAA games were 6 months old, and the development teams didn't give a fuck about optimizing it to actually run on the hardware, so it ended up running like shit. And they were charging $60 for this shit when you could pick it up on the other consoles for about $30 or on Steam for $20 or less on a sale. And they're saying $60 please, and a lot of them still just removing features on top of it. And that's the thing where people saying, well, third-party games don't sell on Nintendo systems. Who the fuck would have bought that? They sold 50,000 on it. I'm surprised of that. And then there's the other thing. Well, Ubisoft said that Zombie U didn't make a profit. That didn't come out on anything but the Wii U. Here's the thing. Zombie U sold 500,000, over 500,000, not counting digital sales, it's just what's on VG charts. They sold over 500,000 copies of Zombie U. Now, assuming they make $30 per copy, that's what, 2.5 million? Zombie U, the graphics were crap. It was... They were bragging earlier about how it costs less than $1 million to port something to the Wii U, and the whole thing is... It was obviously a budget game. So, if on over 500,000 sales, they didn't make a profit, there are two possibilities. One, Ubisoft really fucking blows at budgeting their games, and two, they're lying. Zombie U is, I think, still like the third highest selling game on Wii U. Most games really haven't sold particularly well. The Rayman Legends sold best on Wii U than it did on the others. I couldn't find anything about Deus Ex Human Revolution that recently came out. It was originally supposed to be a Wii U exclusive, and then it got split to the other consoles. But I was trying to check on VG Charts, and VG Charts does not list Human Revolution for the other consoles. It dumps it all into... it doesn't list the director's cut, I should say, for that was originally supposed to be Wii U exclusive, and then got ported to everything else before release. But it does not list the director's cut for all the other consoles on VG Charts. It dumps it all into Human Revolution. And the Wii U version, I was looking at that, and it sold something like 10,000. And that's kind of crap. But, number one, the Wii U version cost 40% more than the others, $50 instead of $30. Yeah, people are really going to rush out and buy that version. However, on Amazon, the amount of reviews people have posted, most of them were for the Wii U version. So either Wii U gamers are loudmouths, well, yeah, but also possibly that version actually sold more. But how I feel about what the PlayStation 4 is going to do in the coming months versus how the Wii U is doing and how that will line up. Of course, the thing with the economy and whatnot, that's going to work against all of the consoles. But I still think the PlayStation 4 is going to have higher per month sales than the Wii U did. Even though I fucking love all the games out on Wii U right now, and right now the library on the Wii U is a lot stronger than the library on the PS4, still, PlayStation 4 could still be selling more than the Wii U in the coming months, coming into summer 2014. Because the PS4 ad campaign this time around, number one, was good. It wasn't fucking crying baby dolls doing psycho horror movie shit that doesn't explain at all what the fuck they're trying to sell, and if you even knew, you'd probably want to avoid it. So, actual good commercials. And two, they're fucking everywhere. Everyone has seen the Perfect Day commercial. It's probably up there right now. And you got on YouTube this big-ass PS4 advertisement. So, yeah, everyone's fucking seen Sony's ads. That's the thing that Nintendo has really fucked up on. I'm just, we didn't explain at E3 properly enough to people that this was a new console. Yeah, that too. But you didn't advertise the fucking thing. General consumers don't watch E3. The general consumer walking into the shop doesn't follow gaming news sites. They don't do these research things that people do. And they're not going to know the Wii U is a new console. They're not even going to know the Wii U is out unless they see an advertisement. Now, occasionally they've advertised some games for it, but I've hardly seen them advertise the Wii U itself. I remember some. Very few. Not the best at explaining what it is they were trying to sell. It was clear it was a game system, but not much beyond that. Now, and the thing I didn't like about the Perfect Day commercial was the complete lack of actual gameplay footage, But you still got the point that it was a video game system. There you go. That's what you needed. Though the worst ads I can think of in recent history are something that I personally wanted, and I still want because I'm broke. Surface Pro, the first year ads, when they first were coming out with the Surface and the Surface Pro, they were like, hey, we're going to defeat the iPad, and the way we defeat the iPad is by being cool. They designed a tablet for getting shit done on. And they advertised it with a bunch of jackasses jumping around, clicking the keyboard in and out, and just flipping the kickstand like, can't figure out if they want to hold it or put it down. And play some dubstep. I, as a kid, listened to all kinds of music. I love music. I kept hearing all the grown-ups talking about how they hate kids' music, and I loved all the new music and all the old music. I felt great. I knew that I was going to love all music for the rest of my life. And then some fucknut had to go and invent dubstep. So yeah, the original Surface commercials? Shit. I knew what the fucking thing could do, and that's the only reason I knew what they were doing for like a half second at one point. Hey, he took the pen out and went on the screen. That's a way to show people who already fucking know the screen has a Wacom digitizer in it that it has a fucking Wacom digitizer. Everyone else watching this commercial that doesn't already know that might think he just pulled out a Sharpie and fucked around with it because he's just fucking around the whole commercial. So yeah. PS4 commercial's good. That's going to help PS4 sales. Its price point is $400, which is $100 higher than the Wii U, and the PS4 does not come with a game packed in, but there are the free downloadable games already, I think. But the thing with that is, no one knows about the Wii U, so it's not going to be compared to that. It's going to be compared to the Xbox One, which is $500. So compared to that, the PS4 is a hell of a lot cheaper. So, the thing that's bothering me with Nintendo's complete lack of advertising for the Wii U is that now is do or die for them. Not for Nintendo, really, but if they want any kind of third-party support for that system, if they want it to have a decent library and keep the core gamer audience that they were trying to attract with it, they're going to need an install base. And if they continue to not advertise the Wii U, and I could see them selling 2 million units this holiday season, bring the total up to 6 million. Let's say that the PS4 only sells 2 million, not even as much as the Wii U did on its first holiday season. Say that because of the Xbox One it sells a bit less. Probably around August, the PS4 would outsell the Wii U. Because of month-to-month sales like that. Where month-to-month, that's where the Wii U has suffered the most, partially because of the games drought, but also severely because no one even knows it exists. That's the biggest problem for the system. It's not that no one knows that it's a system itself and not just a controller. And it's not just a accessory for the Wii. Most people don't even fucking know it's there. So they don't have to have the explanation of, no, it's not the tablet, it's the new one, it's the HD console, it's the next generation. No, they don't know. They don't have to get to that point. You just have to tell them that it even exists. You gotta break that through to them first. Have a presence. You have the games now. Just fucking put it out there. People will buy the goddamn thing. And then there's been the one thing about, would the Wii U be like this generation's Dreamcast? I don't know, the Dreamcast had a better launch. The Dreamcast at the time had the best lineup of launch games of any console ever, had the strongest sales of any launch, and had decent sales month to month following. When the PlayStation 2 came out, suddenly all sales for the Dreamcast just fucking dropped off the face of the earth. Some think that might... There's this little gaming conspiracy theory that goes around that Sony actually made a deal with distributors that you are not going to be allowed to have the PlayStation 2 unless you take down all your Dreamcast advertisements and store your Dreamcast in the back of the store. That would explain the complete lack of sales after the release of the PS2, but I can't find any definitive proof that that's actually what happened. But PS2 comes out, Dreamcast sales completely dry up. In order for the Wii U to be this generation's Dreamcast, its sales would have to completely dry up following the Xbox One and PS4 release. It was kind of trying to beat the Dreamcast at that, because even before, just after its own release, after the initial sales, suddenly everything pretty much dried up, about as bad as it did on the Dreamcast. But Nintendo isn't in the same position Sega was. Sega had lost money on the Sega CD. Sega had lost money on the 32X. Sega had lost money on the Sega Saturn. Sega had lost money on the Sega Nomad. That was supposed to be the follow-up to the Game Gear, where they made a handheld Sega Genesis, which was ridiculously expensive, both to make and to sell, so since it was bulky, took how the hell many AA batteries, and sucked through them in like... It was a 4-hour battery life before a 4-hour battery life was cool. It just... And I really liked the thing. I actually got one, but it's still... You can understand why a portable system the size of a... It was actually larger than an actual brick. So, yeah. And I'd venture to say the Nomad was not quite as wide as this, but just about as thick, a bit thicker, actually, and had the big battery tumor you clip on the back. And it weighed a fuck ton more. Yeah, carry that around. So, yeah. And Chibi's barking up a storm. Xbox One looks like if they advertise it well enough, it'll sell a bit, but I don't think it's going to sell as well as the PlayStation 4, simply because fucking PlayStation 4 is everywhere, and holy shit. And I tried to get a PlayStation 4. I can't afford one, so I just went to Taco Bell twice. Didn't win either time. And I'm trying to get an Xbox One. Of course, just a couple bottles of Mountain Dew, bag of Doritos here or there. I've got 900 points on the every2minutes.com, and the only way you could possibly win one of the auctions is if you have about 40,000. So, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Oh well, if I spent $800 on Mountain Dew, I would have an Xbox One. And I would have wasted about $300 more than I would have just buying the system. which I'm sure I'm not going to have trouble finding. So, yes. The one good thing with the upcoming generation, though, is like Assassin's Creed 4. It was. There was a thing going for a while with the Wii U that people were just. A lot of people who knew things about it didn't know the actual facts about them. There was plenty that believed that the Wii U was weaker than previous generation consoles, partly because of the really shitty ports that it had as launch titles of previous gen games that everyone's already played to death, so they're not really too interested in. But when they did see it running on the Wii U, it ran shitty. So it was okay. This is your more powerful console, but it can't run shit that I've already played, and there's the assumption there that the system simply is not as powerful as the previous generation already was. And the good thing about the newer games coming out is, like Call of Duty Ghosts, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, these are games that actually some effort was put into the Wii U version, not as much as they could have, but some. And they at least got the textures looking better on the Wii U version. So people looking at the comparison videos are actually starting to say, oh, wow, the Wii U version actually is better than the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. PS4 version beats them all to death, but still. The concern I have when I was watching those videos is I was looking at the PS4 version, I was looking at the current gen versions, and the cross-generation games, for the launch titles for the PS4, so they're not going to use all the graphics power immediately. There's 2 years from now, they're going to look fucking amazing on the PS4. But right now, I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, is this worth $500 to upgrade? $400 for the system, $60 for the game, and another $50 for the online to pay for that. And I'm just like, that's a hard sell. But, like I said, they've got advertising out the ass. They're going to get sales. Whether or not it will be enough, I know, if they had fucked up the launch real bad, I'd probably know about it by now. But I've been following that for most all the day. I'm checking all the news here and there, and everything looks in order. So, from where I'm standing, Sony looks like they're in a pretty good position. Now, having, at this point, the realization that, Wii U can output better than Xbox 360 and PS3 might not matter if still no one buys it because no one fucking knows it exists, and therefore, if its user base is shit, ports aren't going to be made for it. If they pick up to have at least 25% of the market share, 25% of all next-gen consoles being Wii U's, that would be a good enough reason for certain companies to at least make a Wii U version of their games. And PS4 and Xbox 360, they're both x86 systems, and they're both, it's both basic computer parts. They can just both work on each system just fine. Optimization is the only real thing that is going to be needed in a port between those two. Making something for the Wii U will be a lot more complicated. So they really need that user base, as games in this coming generation are going to be so much more expensive. If the Wii U lags too far behind in users, they're just not going to get third-party support. And already, their third-party support's not looking particularly good, but also you gotta wonder, did these companies even give a fuck from the start? Because are they honestly that stupid to think? Are they? Do they think that gamers are that stupid that they're going to just go out and buy the unoptimized port of a 7-month-old game with features missing for $60 when you can get it on the older system, possibly with all DLC, running better for $30? All DLC, that's another thing. Also announced that all the DLC is not going to be coming to the system. In fact, none of the DLC is coming to this system. Now please pay $60 for this version that has several missing features. Tara, you're making noise in the bag. That's my cat. She doesn't care about all these consoles. She's got a bag. But also, I get frustrated with. I simply put, fanboys. Yes, you get an affinity, you get a care for the system you have, but I hate when people suddenly switch opinions on specific things because, hey, now their side's doing it. I just want to get online and tell everyone, okay, everyone who said that off-TV play on the Wii U was fucking retarded, you are not allowed to post about how much you love remote play on the PS4. Everyone who said that the Xbox One's camera was fucking creepy are not allowed to talk about how great it is that the PlayStation 4 will log you in by recognizing your face. And everyone who talks about how awesome it is to have the best graphics possible now that you have a PS4, remember, never say that when standing next to a PC gamer. It's just a lot of shit going on, really. So, PS4 launch looks like it's going good. Nintendo needs to get off their ass and fucking advertise. I don't know how hard that is. Maybe it's because people really think the problem is that everyone thinks that the gamepad is the system. But for the most part, people just really don't know the system exists. And that's... there are selling points for the damn thing, but people have to know what it is to be able to ask about it in the first place. Consumers don't know what it is. Consumers find it in the store and don't know what it is. They ask the representative what it is. The store representative looks at it, doesn't know what it is, and tells the customer he doesn't know what it is. Or just makes some shit up. So, yeah. I think I've probably ranted enough about this. I do have some serious work to do on my videos. And... Tara. Are you going to be crinkling in that bag all night? I think that's a yes. That's definitely a yes. Okay, so let's see what happens with the Xbox One launch, and let's see if Microsoft's ad campaign is as good as Sony's, and let's see if Nintendo even fucking has an ad campaign.